Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti ravavati naishtiki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Namo Nalina Netraya Venuvadya Vinodine Radhadara Sudapana Shaline Vanamaline Mahabhava Swarupastvam Krishna Priya Variyasi Prema Bhakti Prade Devi Shri Radhika Tvam Namostute. Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadu Vargena Vakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Rima Pumarto Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhormatamidam Tatra Dharana Paraha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Akhala Mandala Kharagaptena Characha. So we'll continue from Rudra Geet, chanting the songs sung by Lord Shiva. That's in Canto 4, Chapter 24, and text number 33. In the previous session, we have seen that how Prachetas, when they approached Lord Shiva, not they approach actually, when they were passing by to that Bindu Sarovar, they saw that Lord Shiva is coming out with his associates. And as they saw Lord Shiva, they offered their obeisances. And by seeing them, Lord Shiva, he glorified them first. Because they were focused on one particular aim, which is given by their father, Sri Prachani Barhishat, to go and perform austerities to please their lordship. So all these prachedas together, they had a same goal, to please the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. And by seeing that mode, Lord Shiva got pleased with them. And then he glorified. He said that, for me, rather than my own devotees or my worshippers, the devotees of Lord Vishnu are more dear. And that's why Lord Shiva is considered as Vaishnavanam Yatha, means the topmost amongst the Vaishnavas. As Ganges is topmost among the rivers, Lord Achyuta is topmost among the demigods. And among the great sages, amongst the demigods, as Narada is topmost, the same way, amongst the Vaishnavas, Lord Shiva is topmost. And that Lord Shiva, he very wonderfully glorified their Lordship. Rudra uvacha jitam atmatam vibhavaryas swastaye swastirastu me Avataradhasaradham Sarvatsma Atmane Namaha. Lord Shiva addressed the Supreme Personality of the Godhead with the following prayers. O Supreme Personality of a Godhead, all glory is unto you. You are the most exalted of all self-realized souls. Since you are always auspicious for the self-realized, I wish that you be auspicious for me. You are worshipable by virtue of the all perfect instructions you give. You are the super soul, therefore I offer my obeisances unto you as the supreme living being. So here, one thing very clearly that Lord Shiva has explained, and that is Bhavata Aradham Radhasa. That Lord is the topmost object of worship. Why? Because he says here, you are worshipable by virtue of all perfect instructions you give. Because whatever instruction that Lord has given, they are perfect. In the invocation of Ishopanishad, there is a wonderful verse. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnamasya Purnamadaya Purnam Evavashishyate. Whatever comes from the absolute truth, that is absolute. So his instructions, they are also absolute. And that's why he says that Bhavata Radhasam Radham Sarvatma Atmane Namaha. You are the super soul in everyone's heart. Generally, Mayavadis, they consider that Atma and Paramatma both are same. Atma is Atma because he is covered by the body, and if he gets rid of this body, he becomes Paramatma. So here Lord Shiva himself, actually who came and preached about this philosophy, he himself smashed that away. And he clearly says, Sarvatma Atmane Namaha. I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the super soul of everyone. You are the super soul who resides in everyone's heart. So in his one verse or his one prayer, he clarifies one particular aspect of the Lord. So the all-pervading aspect, the Paramatma aspect of the Lord, that has explained in this particular verse. One name of Lord is Vasudev. Vasudev means Sarvatra Vasati Saha, who resides everywhere. Means he resides in everyone's heart. As Lord himself says, Sarvasachaham Radhi Sannivishnu. I reside in everyone's heart. So that first principle is clarified by Lord Shiva here. Then further he says, Nama Pankajanabhaya Bhuta Sukshmendriyatmane Vasudevaya Shantaya Kutasthaya Swarochishe. He says, my Lord, you are the origin of creation by virtue of the lotus flower which sprouts from your navel. You are the supreme controller of the senses and the sense objects. And you are also all-pervading Vasudeva. You are most peaceful, and because of your self-illuminated existence, you are not disturbed by the 6 kinds of transformations. Namaha Pankajanavaya. First of all, he offered obeisances to Lord's navel, because that's the cause or source of material creation. Because from that navel sprouts the lotus on which Lord Brahma is born. And he is the second creator who creates all of our bodies. Everything which is visible in this world, which has its own shape, own characteristics, own attribute. That is done by Brahma. And that Brahma was born from the navel of the Lordship. And that's why here Lord Shiva, he offers his obeisances to that navel. Then he says, Bhuta Sukshmendriya Atmane. You are Vasudeva as an all-pervading super soul in everyone's heart. So how you reside? Bhuta Sukshmendriya. You enter in each and every material element, sukshma, even subtle. We have two bodies. One is gross, one is subtle. Subtle body composite of mind, ego, and intelligence. Beyond this subtle body and gross body, there is something which is the object of our senses. And those are sensory objects. And he says that you are senses and you are the object of senses. You are the controller of the senses and you are the object of the senses. Shantaya kuthasaya swaruchishe. And you are a swaruchise, you are self-illuminating. The whole Brahman, what we say, the Brahma Jyoti, that is nothing but the effulgence of their Lordship's body. And that's why he says, you are a swaruchishe. Then further he says, Sankarshanaya sukshmaya duratayantakaaya cha namo vishwaprabodhaya pradyumnayantaratmane. He is offering his prayers to Chaturvyuha. Chaturvyuha means there are quadruple expansions of the Lord. Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. So he is offering pranams to each of them. So he did with Vasudev. Now he is offering to Sankarshana. So who is this Sankarshana? He says that, my dear Lord, you are the origin of subtle material ingredients, the master of all integrations as well as the master of all disintegration, the predominating deity named Sankarshana. So Sankarshana, from whom comes Mahavishnu. So he is praying to that Sankarshana. He says that you are the one who integrate everything and who disintegrate everything. That integration is called as a Mahat Tattva. Mahatvattva is amalgamation of all 24 elements which are the basic cause of creation. And that's why he is the integration of everything. And he is the one at the time of pralaya, dissolution, he creates fire or he emanates fire from his mouth and he destroys everything. He disintegrates everything. And that's what fire does. When you burn something, it gets disintegrated, Gases get released, water gets released, then it turns into ashes, that turns into soil. So he is the one from whom this both function happens, integration and disintegration. The master of intelligence, known as the predominating deity, Pradyumna. Lord Pradyumna is considered as a master of intelligence. Our buddhi is controlled by Lord Pradyumna, one of the Chaturvyuha. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Then he further says, the fourth expansion of the Lord, Aniruddha, he glorifies them. He says, Namo Namo Aniruddhaya Rishikesha Indriyatmane Namaha Paramahamsaya Purnaya Nibhrutatmane. My Lord, as the supreme directing deity known as Aniruddha, you are the master of the senses and the mind. So who is the master of mind? Aniruddha. The expansion of the Lordship. Aniruddha is the master of mind. I therefore offer my obeisances unto you again and again. You are known as Ananta as well as Sankarshana because of your ability to destroy the whole creation by the blazing fire from your mouth. He says here, Rishikesha Indriya Atmane. Rishikesha. Rishika Isha. Rishikesha means Rishika Isha. Rishik means senses and Isha means who control. So Lord is known as a Rishikesha. Indriyatmani, who controls the senses, and Atmana. Here Atmana means mind. So Lord Aniruddha is the controller of our senses as well as our mind. And Namaha Paramahansaya Purnaya Nibhritatmane. Nibhritatmane means who is situated beyond this material creation. Even though he is controller of senses, but he is not related to senses. And that's why with these senses you can't know that Supreme Personality of a Godhead. And that's why he is known as a Adhokshaja, Adhokrita Akshaja Jnanaha, which is not knowable through our senses. That is Adhoksha. Then further in the next verse he says, Swarga Apar Pavarga Dvaraya Nityam Shuchishade Namaha Namo Hiranyaviryaya Chaturhutraya Tantave. My Lord, O Aniruddha, you are the authority by which the doors of the higher planetary systems and liberations are open. You are always within the pure heart of a living entity. Therefore, I offer my humble obeisances unto you. You are the possessor of semen, which is like a gold, and thus, in the form of a fire, you help the Vedic sacrifice beginning with the Chaturhutras. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you. See here, very wonderfully, we can explore that how their Lordship is present in each and everything. Sarvati Vasati iti Vasudeva. The Lord who pervades everywhere, he is a Vasudeva. Then how he pervades everywhere, that has explained in this verse. As explained in the Amrita Bindu Upanishad, Manayeva Manashanam Karanam Moksha Bandhaye Bandhe Vishaya Sangat Muktaiva Nirvishaya Manaha. It says that mind is the cause of our bondage and liberation. If it is attached to material things, then it causes this bondage. And if it is detached, then it gives you liberation. And who controls the mind? Aniruddha. And that's why he says here, you are the authorities which opens the door of heavenly planets and liberation. Because it's mind which takes you to the hell or heaven, or it liberates you. And that mind is controlled by Aniruddha. That's why he's praying to Aniruddha. You are the one who gives us either liberation or heavenly residence. And you are the one who resides in everyone's body. See, strength, the bodily strength, is considered that how much semen someone has retained in his body. That person is called as Samarthyavan. He has a Samarthya. He has a strength. And that Virya is Lord Aniruddha himself. That's why Lord says, Balam Balavatam Chasmi. I am the strength amongst the powerful persons. And that's what Namo Hiranya Virya. He called that Virya as a semen, as a gold. It's precious. That's what it means. So it says Hiranya Virya. And you are the one Chatur Putraya Tantave. Because in previous eras, to know the Supreme Personality of the Lord and to pure ourselves, pure our existence, pure our aura, they used to perform yagyas. 4 kinds of Chaturhutras, different 4 kinds of yagyas they used to perform. So he says that all those yagyas are you himself, you yourself. And that's why he is praying to Lord Aniruddha. Then he further says, Nama urja ishe traya pataye yajna retase Truptidaya cha jivanam namah sarvarasatmane. Sarvarasatmane. It's a very wonderful word. Rasa generally means taste, And everyone is behind that. Either beauty, either food, drinks, hearing, everything. Unless and until you develop some taste, you don't hanker for that. Everyone is running behind the taste only. And here he calls their Lordship as Sarva Rasatmane. You are the taste of all the tastes. And that's why Lord is known as Sarva Rasa Sar Vigraha. He is the personification of all the rasas, all the taste, all the attraction in this world. He says, my Lord, you are the provider of Pitrulokas as well as the demigods. You are the predominating deity of the moon and the master of the all three Vedas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you because you are the original source of satisfaction of all living entities. That is what Sarva Rasatmane is, the source of satisfaction for all living entities. And that's why in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the second canto, it is clearly said, Akamo sarva kamo va moksha kamo udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purushakvaram. Whether you have a desire or whether you don't have any material desire, one should immediately start worshipping Lord Adhokshaja. Because that's the goal of life. As He is the object of all our senses, then senses should be engaged in His service. Because He is the master of all the senses. Rishi Keshaha, the controller of all the senses. And then further, he says, Sarva Sattvatma Dehaya Visheshaya Staviviyase Namastrailo Lokya Palaya Saha Ojabalaya Cha. My dear Lord, you are the gigantic universal form which contains all the individual bodies of the living entities. You are the maintainer of the three worlds, and as such, you maintain the mind, senses, body, and air of a life within them. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. And who is saying that? Who is offering this prayer? Lord Shiva. He is proving by giving all the examples and explanation that how their lordship is worshipable. In Padma Puran, there is a nice conversation between Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati, where she asked him, what you do actually? All they called you as a Yogishwara. You are the topmost among all the yogis. But you meditate on someone. I'm not able to understand. Who is that? And then he says, Aradhanam hi sarvesham Vishnor aradhanam param tasmad parataram devi tadiyanam samarchanam. Lord Shiva explained that in all the worship, the topmost worship is Lord Vishnu's worship. And he is the topmost worshipable person. He is the object of all the worships. How he is object of all the worships? That he himself has explained here by explaining the quadruple views or quadruple expansions of the Lord. If his Chaturvivas are worshipable, then what to speak of him? If his expansion are so powerful and everything comes from them, then what to speak of their Lordship? And that's why in this verse he says, Sarva Sattvatma Dehaya Visheshaya Sthaviyase. The Sthaviyase means this material world. In this material world, yogis, they can see Lord as a Paramatma. And there are some foolish who want to see their Lordship in a different ways. For them, he appeared as a Vishwarupa. Because they are not able to understand how Lord pervades himself. So the Vishwarupa is explained or shown by the Lord to them, for them, so that they can understand how he resides in everyone, every demigod, yakshas, nagas, rakshas, in everyone. You can see he and his potencies. And he says, Namastrailokya lokaya. I offer my obeisance unto you because you are the one who is worshipped by all the residents of three planetary systems: heavenly, earthly, and hellish, or Bilva, the downward. All 14 planet systems, which are divided as a three lokas: Swarga, Prithvi, Bhauma, and then Patal. All the places he is worshipped. Saha Oja Balayacha. Because he is the one who is strength in each and everyone's body. Because he is the master of the senses, he is the object of the senses, and he is the controller of our mind. Oja Balayacha, that's what he says. So we'll stop here. And we'll continue Lord Shiva's prayer to their Lordship. Oh, the next one is very good. I think it will take half an hour. So we'll continue on next Saturday. Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Thank you so much.